talk about. We'll just keep talking. We'll just keep talking. Just keep talking. Talking. For so long. Oh, we're babbling on. We're babbling
How am I going to introduce you? All right.
Who am I really?
Like, who is that?
Who is that?
Okay, so good tea time babbling on community. Wow, the Zoom lighting looks good on both of us. Today, how do I this is an insurmountable task. Today I sit here with my dearest, oldest friend who we have been through it all together. I met
Hell.
Misha. Oh!
We've been through hell.
Oh! On my first day of college, I met you in line at auditions for comedy troupes. And I met you in line, and our other friend Kathy was there too. I'll never forget it. And anyway, the person I'm speaking about is one of the most beautiful inside and out people ever, as well as talented and prolific. She's the author of multiple scripts and books and songs. She's a performer who has appeared in countless projects. She is a visionary and a thinker and a human and a beauty. We've collaborated many times. One notable is the cover art for her book Hot Girl. And she's just my one of the deepest soul connections I've ever had in this life. And the person, I'm not even doing it justice. Like, words fall short of this human. Anyone who has met her knows I'm talking about the king, Misha Lambert, ladies and gentlemen.
My jaw is agape.
I didn't do you justice.
No, you did. You did. I mean, I'm sorry, but no one else is getting that kind of intro on babbling.
Sorry, the other babblers, it's like, this is someone I met. But
Thank you so much for that. Wow, it's really nice to feel like someone knows you.
I mean, I don't know. I would say there's like 4 or 5 people ever in my life who I feel like we've known each other on the level that you and I know each other. And even though we live on opposite sides of the country now, I still, every time I see you, it's just like we pick up where we left off. And I also want to note for the babblers, this is our first ever virtual recording. We're recording. Misha, where are you based, my love?
I'm based in the beautiful town of Los Angeles.
Los Angeles.
In the beautiful... Cut that.
That will need to get babbled.
Just bleep that.
Blurb.
Because a big topic today is cancellation.
Yes, God, our topic is the best topic ever.
Our topic is like so deeply important to both of us.
And it just, Matt, I'm taking a screenshot of myself right now because we look so cute. No, in terms of topics for you, like, I just feel that we bonded over this topic immediately, and it just makes so much sense, and she's perfect. But before we get to that, you know what's coming.
I do, and it just couldn't be more perfect.
Are you gaggled and you giggled? Oh, I'm noticing a venti iced coffee.
Yeah.
Or is that Trenta?
No. This is just venti for mental illness.
Venti for the god.
It starts with a nice rush of optimism, and then at ounce 18 begins psychosis.
Is that a cold brew, my king?
Or is
Any milk in there?
one of the more evil corporations on the planet.
Starbucks.
They're a little bit of soy milk today is my
Oh,
choice.
hi, Soy Soy. I think it's time to bring back my girls. Soy.
Everyone, yeah. The library, by the way, is open.
Yeah, no, there's readings happening. There's public readings. The Moth Poetry Hour is in
Oh my,
session.
this is This American Life.
Yeah. Well, soon we won't even have NPR, so people will need to get their news from here, which. What am I
Is
trying to
neither
say?
here nor there.
What was that? Like, I don't know what I'm talking about.
They might need to get their news right here.
I'd say if you're getting your news here, we're gonna need to put you in electroshock, my love. Because I'm not a news anchor.
A little One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Yeah, which you are aware one actor, actress, screenplay, director, picture. One of only 3 movies in history to do so.
You are so encyclopedic with all that. It's a little savant.
Well, that's where my OCD
I don't
really.
think savant is a PC anymore.
What is savant?
It's a touch of the tism.
Tismic. Okay, who are you in the 8, McCain?
Well, ultimately, I am Hannah Horvath
Yeah.
with Carrie kind of dust, you know?
Yeah, and we complement each other in that regard because I think I'm the flip of that.
I mean, we certainly have the hair, dear.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to think that I'm a little more I'm a little more embodied, perhaps, than Hannah Horvath. I'm a little more fluid in ways.
Yeah.
I'm not, hopefully, please, dear God, I a little bit more self-aware and or
Definitely. That is a huge distinction.
yeah, a little bit less up my own butthole in and out through my belly button type. But it depends on the day. Like some days I'm Hannah Horvathing boots down, 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 down.
Horvath. Can I get an amen up in here? I'm getting canceled today, but that's kind of like the point for this topic. It's like we have to get canceled today. So find ways to do so.
One thing that I would like to ask you, because I feel strongly about this. So you identify as a Carrie Hannah hybrid?
Well, can we get real here for a sec? Like,
yeah, because it's a lot.
Finally, it's time to put down our weapons. I feel like every episode, obviously, this question is asked, and I'm just like, I'm Carrie. And then we kind of move on. But if we're honest, like, let's really answer it here. Because, like, am I Carrie anymore? Like, I've changed a bit. I mean, on surface level, sure. Fabulous outfits, curly hair, writer, deranged, unhinged, hopeless romantic, always getting into adventures, a little bit self-absorbed. So, actually, now that I'm saying all that, I'm like, yeah, I guess I am Carrie.
But there's something more daring, I believe, about you than she ever was, with all due respect to the absolute deity.
Yeah. Who is listening right now, we know.
And that's where the Hannah comes in, you know,
that's
because
right. Yeah.
And honestly, I would go as far as saying you and I both have a little Samantha in us too.
We do.
Because Samantha is actually, of all of these characters, wise mind.
She is the most at peace of the 8.
She is.
Yeah.
She is probably the most spiritually evolved.
Totally. And I guess second would be... Well, Shosh is an interesting study because while she does evolve and become self-assured, she also develops a steely coldness that is not something you'll find in Samantha.
Right. Shosh and Marnie and a little bit Charlotte, but mostly Shosh and Marnie have a young soul energy that I don't relate to.
I'm just taking pics because we look so good. Shosh and Marnie have a youthfulness that you don't relate to. Is that what you just said?
Like a young soul.
Yeah. Well,
like they have not been around the block. They are here for the first time, and it's like, girl.
Oh, so you're saying like they haven't been reincarnated yet?
Period.
Yeah, that's tea. I actually do want to bring up the Marnie factor though, because why at the end of the day when we really look at it, and I think today's episode is really about, like, let's cut the bullshit. You know how it is with these other fucks. It's like, you know, like everyone, we have to laugh and we have to be fun. But here it's like, bullshit aside, like, Marnie is ultimately, I kind of think, the most real of the girls in a random way.
Mm-hmm.
In the sense that, I've said this before in the podcast, but it bears repeating. The beach house episode, you know,
Yeah.
and love, with the duck and with the gay guys in the pool.
Mm-hmm.
And when Marnie only buys enough duck for 4 and is mad that all these gay guys stay, I'm like, Marnie has every right to be upset there. And we understand what it's like to be in that position somehow.
The amount of times the duck has been served to an ungrateful audience.
That! Like, where was the gratitude for the mallard?
Yeah, there is something about Marnie that's very
Quack.
forthright. Like, she, you know,
Forthright,
she's,
did you say?
yeah.
What does that mean again?
Is that a word? I'm wondering.
I don't think so. Did you mean Fortnite?
No, I said forthright. I didn't say
forthright.
Yeah. Did I think
Zoom difficulties.
Maybe I did.
I heard Fortright. We'll listen back and we'll see.
Let's do what's it called? Fact check.
Fact check.
Because I know I'll be spitting facts in this that are off.
Oh, same, because I researched through Wikipedia only.
I did a lot of research, but I'm a hyperbolist, and I'm overall I kind of I skim and I give kind of more of a broad approach in everything I do. That being said,
yeah, sorry, I keep getting distracted because we look so good. It's different when you're on Zoom. You know what? I need to hide self-view. That is what is missing. Okay, there we go. Okay, we good. Yeah, so it's funny because today the 8 bears special mention since it really leads, and it will be, of course, involving deeper thesis writing work on Mrs. Horvath, because Mishi, my Pishi, my Gleeshi, and the Sishi, what are you babblishing on about today?
I am a completely unabashed Lena Dunham supporter, and if we have to say it, apologist.
But now we said it. So am I, by the way. She did nothing wrong.
Totally. Yeah. I don't feel that there's much to apologize for. Other than being someone who exists, who opens her mouth, whether she should open her mouth as wide as she does, who knows?
Well, sometimes you have to open wide for the orthodontist.
Yes, but I do believe Lena Dunham is the epitome of the double standard.
Mm-hmm.
Hate to see a fat girl win. They hate.
There we go. And now the words have been uttered.
Yeah, they hate. I mean, whoever is listening to this right now probably hates to see a fat girl win.
Well, you'd be surprised, actually, because the Babbling On community is full of women who love to see the fat girl win. That is one thing. When you sign up to subscribe to the podcast, there's one question. Well, there's 3 questions. The first is, do you want to see the fat girl win? And if you answer no, you aren't. And the second and third question are like, will you blow me?
Right.
By the way, in case we needed to be clear, you're babbling on about Mrs. Lena Jane Dunham. Is her middle name Jane? No, I just made that up.
Oh.
I don't know why I'm like doing that.
It sounds nice.
I wonder what is her middle name. Let me check.
There's a component here of not only, do they hate to see a fat girl win, but we do have a sort of a nepo situation.
Yeah.
And I feel completely assured in her Nepo status and in the fact that that is how her pipeline began. She is a child of downtown Manhattan art legends.
Yeah, so let's just get those names. Those are, what are their names?
Carol Dunham.
Carol Dunham is a painter, and Carol is the boy, the dad. Just want to get ahead of that.
The boy.
Let's acknowledge the fact that the dad's name was Carol.
Either, Lori could be the boy, but it's not.
Yeah, Lori is the girl, because there's always a boy and a girl in life.
And Lori famously is the artist who works in miniatures.
Yes, photographer and artist who is known for her dollhouse miniature art, which, as seen in, we're gonna need to jump back and go through her childhood, but as seen in the film Tiny Furniture, right?
They're, it is a slight call to rich people who cosplay poor, a little, and I'll give her that. But before we get into any of this,
Yeah.
I want to say the number one way we could be supporting Lena Dunham is to probably not talk about all that she's been through.
Yeah.
And not bring up any of this again.
Yeah.
But
that's so true.
But we want a voice.
We want a voice. Here's my thing is like some of the shit I don't even feel, we'll cover what we cover and we'll probably get to a lot of the controversies, but I think it's important to enter this conversation with a few broad stroke statements about I'm with her. I'm still with her.
I am too.
Let me just say.
It's very 2016.
It is. I mean, Lena is Hillary is
right.
That moment. And like we're getting canceled today, but like I don't care. I love Lena, and in the same way back in the day they loved Lucy, and in the same way I heart NY, like I heart LD. Right. And I actually think a lot of the criticism flung at her is stupid, if I'm T.
So do I. And I do think ultimately her public backlash is a story of people not being able to rectify in their minds non-traditionally attractive woman with power who doesn't really care to be liked. She actually does care about what people think about her, but she doesn't work from that place. And that's a very scary thing for people. I also want to say, she's not that traditionally not attractive.
No, she's beautiful. I love her.
In her girl day.
I mean, when she started Girls, she was very thin. Was
literally not fat.
Yeah.
So there. But people really cannot take an image that is not palatable for their own sense of what the world should be. Completely. And I will never stand down on that, ever.
So, okay, we're going to walk through her life sort of chronologically and cover all her works. Like, she was, as we touched on, born in downtown New York to famous artist parents, grew up in downtown and in Brooklyn. There's a siren going by. Can you hear that?
Not at all.
She's half Jewish, half Protestant. Her dad's Protestant. Her mom's Jewish. She went to St. Anne's School in Brooklyn, where she met fellow girls star Jemima Kirk in 7th grade. Anyway, we're going to get through that, and she goes to New School for a year and then Oberlin. But I want to ask you, when Lena first came on your radar, and what sort of got your attention and compelled you to become such a Dunhamite?
Mm-hmm. Well, it was through Girls, and then I went back and saw Tiny Furniture, her first feature that led to her getting Girls picked up. And
yeah,
when I saw her, I genuinely thought two things. She stole my gig and she's paving my gig.
It's that.
Like, she and I have a lot in common in terms of our identities and our worldview, and I feel very close to her on a deep level because of that. And her intelligence is truly one in a generation.
She's brilliant. She's maybe our greatest living writer.
She's certainly one of them, and people might, I don't know. If you don't agree with that, I just ask you to, for a second, do the age-old feat of separating the art from the artist.
There we go. And
And just
that's the
try.
tea. Just try.
That's the tea. And there's something about her boldness and her just she's got audacity, and she has acumen. Like, I don't know how else to explain it. She has a Joan Didion in her. She has a Bell Hooks in her. She's like this mixture of heart and mind that I saw, and she's also just not your average gal.
No, she's not your average gal. Not that kind of girl.
A lot of people. She's a little older than us. Like, just what is she?
A couple years. What? How old is she? She
Yeah,
was born in '86, so yeah, she's like 6 or 7 years older than us.
She's a millennial, but she feels a little older than us generationally. But I feel so close to her in that her mind, she's just different. She's a little touched.
So when girls came out when we were in college, when you first saw it, were you immediately hooked? Because I remember starting to watch and, like, for some reason resisting a little, not for the reason that everyone says of like, oh, it's too close to home, I can't watch it, but just for the reason of, like, I don't know. When I started college, I didn't have my taste fine-tuned into, like, knowing what was good. I was still, like, pretty I don't know. I just for whatever reason it didn't click right away, and then I went back and rewatched and realized, like, oh, this is the best thing ever. But that wasn't the case for you.
I understood it right away, but with every rewatch, of course, so much more comes up. I was just kind of becoming a writer. The pilot is perfect.
The pilot is, like, maybe my favorite pilot ever.
Yeah, it's definitely one to study. Like, how did they do that?
Yeah.
How did they do that? I did. I got it right away, and also I have a memory of my brother. Shout out to my brother, who
Shout out to
is
Jody.
a couple decades older than me, actually, and he was like, "This Lena Dunham girl is sick. Like, this show's brilliant," and I think that made me like it even more because that's my big brother.
Babbling on. You were saying
Right.
that you immediately clicked, and this was kind of happening as you were embarking on the more serious chapter of becoming a writer yourself.
Yeah, and I saw I recently was listening to an interview with the author George Saunders.
I'm not familiar with the Queen.
Wait, let me fact check, and maybe you can.
I'll wax poetic. Oh my.
Yeah, so George Saunders, author, he said the thing that young people's writing is sometimes missing is the truth, the deep, deep, deep truth. There's like a lack of truthiness. And with Lena, there's this so much truth. It's deep, and it hits the ground. Like, she gets it.
It is about truth for her, and it's about specificity, and it's about noticing, like, what's real and raw so specifically that the humor and the heartbreak are both overpowering. Like, she's just a genius.
Babbling.
So she meets Jemima Kirk, who will go on to play Jessa in Girls in 7th grade at St. Anne's. She goes to the new school for a year, then transfers to Oberlin, which, if I'm not mistaken, Jemima was also at, or am I wrong? That might be wrong. In the show, they went to college together. But regardless, while there, she's studying creative writing. She makes a bunch of short films and is like posting them to YouTube. One notable one is called The Fountain, which depicts her in a bikini in the public fountain on the Oberlin campus, brushing her teeth. And this went super viral, and she ended up taking it down because of the hateful comments online that were just like so overwhelming. There's a quote here that says from her in the New Yorker, "There were just pages of YouTube comments about how fat I was or how not fat I was," Dunham said. "I didn't want you to Google me, and the first thing you see is a debate about whether my breasts are misshapen." So from the get-go, she's dealing with this bullshit. She makes some other shorts, Pressures, Open the Door, Hooker on Campus, and those are included in DVD extras with her feature debut, which is Tiny Furniture, which comes out in 2010 at South by Southwest, wins Best Narrative Feature. It also won the Indie Spirit for Best First Screenplay. And this is Tiny Furniture. So I would love to hear your thoughts on this film because I watched it rewatched it like 8 months ago. It's really cool and it's groundbreaking. I do kind of remember in my sitting through of it last time, like thinking, oh, this is sort of a half-baked thing that will go on to be Girls, which is the more fully realized version of this idea of these sort of lost early 20-somethings in New York. What do you think of Tiny Furniture? And have you seen any of those shorts?
I have not seen the shorts, and now I need to go find them.
I know, same. I haven't seen them either.
I love Tiny Furniture. I think it's super impressive. Again, touches on some real truths that just resonate in a quiet way. And I love movies that are quietly real.
Yeah.
You touch like a part of the brain that goes, yep, absolutely true.
What are other movies that you would cite as doing that, if I may put you on the spot?
Frances Ha.
Yeah.
Call Me by Your Name.
Mm-hmm. Frances Ha, sorry to cut you off. Frances Ha and Tiny Furniture, I think, are both labeled in the mumblecore. Yeah. Like, which I don't quite understand, but according to Wikipedia is about like people sort of dialogue heavy talking about their feelings vibes, which I guess is our tea.
That's my tea, ultimately. I love anything that the common viewer says, well, nothing happened.
Yeah.
That's my tea.
Yes.
Because they're not paying attention. The close watcher.
Right. It's called the intricacies, honey.
Yeah, and all I care about in life ultimately is talking and listening. So that's that. But I agree with you that Lena thrives the closer she stays to herself. And in that, she is kind of like a microcosm. She's a one-trick pony.
Yeah.
And her mind is vast, and but her true gift is being herself. And if you don't like herself, she's not your cup of tea. Move on to a different cup of tea.
So you think she's a one-trick pony? Like, I almost would push back at that because, like, she does have her thing that is what she's good at, which is, like, the Hannah Horvath and the world of New York and her own experience and writing about herself, which I relate to a lot. Is like, that's kind of my way of expressing myself, too. But actually, like, she directed that film, Catherine Called Birdie, which we'll get to later in the chronology. Did you happen to see that? It's a children's movie set in like medieval times, and it's totally different from Girls or Tiny Furniture or anything, and it's really good. So it's like, that makes me see like, oh, she can create really compelling work outside of her own experience. But I do agree that like the thing she's best at is writing from herself.
That's really interesting to hear. I haven't seen it, shamefully, but
Shame.
Shame. But I will love to see it. I just so enjoy her little get inside her tiny mind vibes. Like I love her essays, I love her articles and blogs, and
I love her essays.
I love her self absorption. I love it. I'll
Yeah.
say it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Like, me too. And I don't think there's anything wrong with being self-absorbed. I'm sorry. I mean, maybe there's something wrong, but it's not the end of the world. So her essays, we're just going to kind of jump around here, but I'll keep us on track since they came up organically. Not That Kind of Girl is her essay book that comes out in, this is after Girls is already airing. When did that come out? 2014, September. Reaches number 2 on the New York Times bestseller list. I think we both read this pretty immediately. We were both deep in Lenaville by this time, and not that I needed cementing, but in terms of cement and the concrete pavements, after reading that book, which I read in like one day while I was home for the holidays from college, I remember exactly where I was when I was reading it for some reason in my mom's old house, but it's so good. She's such a good writer that I was like, holy fuck. And then when the controversies started to emerge out of that, I was like, are you fucking kidding? Like, grow up, world. You know what I'm talking about?
Of course, I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah, it's an incredible collection of writing. It really is. And yeah, I couldn't have consumed it faster. And I still think about essays in that book all the time. And she's a good, I mean, she's a really inspiring model for us in terms of like a career put together on everything that comes deeply from her. Everything she does comes deeply from her. And one thing I please redact my I will redact my one trick pony comment.
I'll redact that if you want. Yeah. Yeah.
But you can't, because I want to hear your response to it. You know what I mean?
Right.
I guess what I mean is that one thing she did that is outside of her usual was industry.
Yeah.
I know we're trying to go chronologically, but that's not going to work.
It's too hard. You know about you and me. We're flitting and floating and flying. She
Yeah,
directed the pilot of Industry.
Yeah, and I believe, am I wrong that she show ran the first season?
That I don't believe to be tea, unfortunately. As much as I would love to give you that Earl Grey in a cup, I don't think that's right, although it could be.
I know she left the project at some point after season 1, but I thought maybe she was...
I'm checking. She is an executive producer and director on the first episode. So that's it.
Only.
Randomly. Don't know what that's about.
It's great.
Yeah, it's great. Although I low-key fell off of Industry, sorry. It was like too hard to understand what they're saying. I should get back on.
People are telling me it's time for me to get back on yesterday.
How long did you last before you fell off?
I think I saw season 1 and 2.
Okay, I think same. And then I think I couldn't make it any farther.
I love it. That lead actress.
Yeah.
Giving.
That's the give.
She has performances where it's like, I believe you're a human being.
Yeah. Oh, fuck. And that's basically the highest honor.
Let me ask you a question, Lena wise.
Okay. Yeah, please.
What is your interpretation or thought? What are your thoughts on her acting?
Oh, wow. Oh, good. Oh, thank you. These are the kinds of questions that aren't being asked every day and need to be. And it's a real treat to be asked this on the record, because I would love to say. So Lena, before I answer it, I'm going to give a little context. She created, directed many of the episodes, wrote many of the episodes, stars in, and is the mastermind of Girls. Like, she did that. All of it. Directing, writing, acting, producing, creating. So, and in season 1, of Girls, she was nominated for Emmys for her directing, writing, acting, and as a producer for comedy series. The episode she was nominated for acting and directing is She Did. I'm trying to remember which one that is. That might be the finale. But I bring all this up to say, I think that Lena's acting often gets, it's the finale of season 1, which is when like Adam gets hit by the truck, Jessa gets married. I think Lena's acting is sensational. I think she's a really good actress, and I do think writing is her number one thing, but I think she's an amazing actress who deserved to win Emmys for her work on Girls. I think she can go there emotionally so deeply. It's really impressive for someone who, didn't study in a conservatory acting program. Her lip tremble is what I would bring up regarding her acting in Girls. Like, there are times where she's like about to cry and her mouth, jaw, lip trembles, and if it was in less deft jaws, it could look like fake or something, but it feels really real. And it's like you just said about the girl from Industry, Mihala is her name, I think. She feels like I'm watching a person, a human, walk around and react, and I forget that it's a show sometimes, honestly. I think she's an amazing actress. What say you?
I love her performance in Girls so much because it's the classic performance of someone who deeply needs to be heard. And when you're an actor and you're speaking your own words, it is a desperate plea to be seen and heard. And I love it. I love it. There are little moments of self-consciousness that you'll catch with her on screen. Like there are a couple, it's almost like sometimes you can tell that she's trying to take off the director, writer, producer hat for a second.
Do you have a moment in mind?
I feel like season 1, especially because she's adjusting to the camera.
Yeah.
I don't have an exact moment, but I feel like those moments to me are human because I just believe that she is sharing with us herself, and I like it. I love it. And I do think
Recording stopped.
Oh, the recording just stopped, but that's okay. We're actually good. I have it recording on my phone, and it's recording onto the podcast thing. Sorry for the interruption.
You don't want it to turn out like your interview on the carpet where you had to dub. I am Annie, and I love to nanny.
Except that is like the most successful thing I've ever done.
Is that on TikTok, by the way?
No, I need to get it on there.
No, that needs to go on TikTok yesterday.
Or is it on TikTok? I need to put it back on again.
It was the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Well, I was like with you when that happened. Like at that time in my life, I was living on your couch, basically. I slept on your couch every night to the point that your roommate, shout out to Sergio, would be like, "Can Hilton not sleep on the couch 7 nights a week?"
Why weren't you sleeping in my bed?
Or maybe I was in your bed and the couch. Sometimes it was like the nebulizer or whatever, Not to out the nebulizer.
No, I couldn't want it to be out more.
Get her out here.
Overall, nothing but praise for my president.
Yeah, of course. Well, which president are you referring to? The nebulizer.
No, Lena.
Oh, Lena. So you think her acting improved over the seasons?
I think it was great to begin with. I guess my comment was just I like those little slivers of like.
So you kind of like that peek behind the curtain.
I do. I just like everything she's doing. She's so dynamic. She's beautiful to watch. She's got a gorgeous sparkle in her eye.
Let me ask you this.
Weird. And she's weird.
She's weird as fuck. There's a comment you made many moons ago that has always stuck with me. and I don't mean to drag you on the spot here, but regarding Sex in the City, you once said that you felt Kim Cattrall was like on a different show than the other three girls. And that really stuck with me. And you weren't saying it in a negative way necessarily. You were just saying like she's doing a different show. And maybe there was a touch in that moment of you being like, sometimes it's like distracting to me. You said that.
Yeah.
I didn't say that. And do you stand by that, A? And B, does that phenomenon exist with any of the characters on Girls?
I completely stand by what I have said. I don't think it's anything but great. I just do believe in a way she's in a play. And everyone else is in a television screen. Her theatricality is unmatched, and she's stylized. Her performance is stylized in such a way that it's not that she lacks any depth.
Yeah.
She's incredible performance, incredible character. But it's also how she's written. Like what she was working with, her cadences, her language, they gave her something elevated.
Yeah.
Really,
the character was written in a different world than the others in a way.
She's always speaking in metaphor. Honey, I need my ovaries to be licked by this man's giant tongue if I'm going to be monogamous. Like, she's different. Honey, if I'm not a bomb, set me off, darling. She's like, she's saying things that are like beyond the scope of the little Manhattan 90s, early 2000s world.
She's in the ether.
Yeah, it kind of feels like she's in like a Neil, like she's kind of in like a Neil LaBute play.
I'm not familiar with it all, but I'm sure she's fierce.
Like she's kind of like people talking in funny ways.
Yeah, mumblecore. Why do we need Kim Cattrall in a mumblecore?
This episode is called Mumblecore.
Mumbly.
Some people do credit the Duplass brothers.
Oh, wait. What is Doopy Poopy?
The Duplass brothers.
Oh, they're credited with founding Mumblecore.
Yeah, yes, they are.
With Greta Gerwig.
Yes, that whole and Baumbach.
Speaking of, let's note that like the Duplass brothers, another big name in shit is Judd Apatow, who joined Lena and co-showrunner Jenny Connor in creating Girls, which is fierce. Let's go back a sec, because I do want to chronologically get us to the tea, which is Tiny Furniture does really well, gets a blind deal signed at HBO. Lena, I think, is 23. And I recall an interview I read years ago that I forgot what it was in, but she talked about like being 23 and the way she got this show made was like not being afraid to just go out and meet, like, I feel like you read this interview with me for some reason, like producers and like HBO bigwigs at like 11 p.m. at bars and just like do whatever it took and schmooze whoever she had to and spend time around crusty men whenever she had to just like get this show made. And she just worked so hard at it. Of course she comes from money, but like she worked so hard, and those two things don't necessarily have to contradict each other at all. Anyway, so Girls gets made. It does really well. It gets really well reviewed. Judd Apatow, one of the biggest names in comedy film, comes onto it, and then season 1 gets nominated for 8 Emmys, 4 of which I think are attributed to Lena herself. Oh shit, no, there's 8 Emmys over the course of 3 seasons. 8 Emmy noms. My bad.
One thing I'll say about the Judd of it all is he has such great taste, and I'm so happy that he was the one, I believe, that kind of plucked her after seeing Tiny Furniture. You need someone like him when you're a young thing,
yes.
you know?
Yes.
Room, and I'm proud of him for being that white guy who decided to take a shot on a young person with a lot of
Yeah.
potential and a lot to say, but she upped his game.
Totally. She
She
did
gave
something he had never had in his repertoire. I think Girls, I can't remember what his movies are, like The 40-Year-Old Virgin or whatever. I mean, Girls stands above
yeah,
all of that to
I
me.
love his
No
writing.
shade.
I see why he likes her writing. They have a similar ability to capture so much funniness in just like messy human things. But one thing I'll say is I did see him recently at Largo. He was one of Kate Berlant's openers,
Oh, really?
and she has a Kate and Friends, and he said that he was on so much Ozempic he couldn't see straight, and it wasn't working.
Stop. Why did that gag me?
That gagged me so much. I was like, oh my god, he's like standing there like looking absolutely hungover. Loved it.
Uh, I'm still in Awardsville, Tennessee over here, just noting that she won the 2012 Actress in a TV comedy at the Golden Globes, which is major. And she also was the first woman ever to win Outstanding Directing for a Comedy Series at the Directors Guild Awards. So let's just gag it in that proper way, if we may.
I've got a fixation on awards.
Yeah, I'm telling you, it's like my OCD autism. Like, I'm like, it brings me so much peace to just say those facts. Anyway, so Girls goes on. She becomes a huge star. There's a couple different ways we can branch the conversation from here. I mean, we do want to touch on her controversies. We do want to touch on her personal life and her projects since Girls. Let's start with personal life. She was dating Jack Antonoff for many years. Can we just touch base about the tea there?
I think they were very cute. We all were really rooting for them.
We were
It
rooting.
was, I remember it was a very sad day when we found out that they were no longer together.
That was one of the hardest days we ever had to go through, I think.
I agree. And I recently read in preparation for this conversation a really heartbreaking quote of hers where she said he went on, I'm paraphrasing it, he went on to date like some kind of modelly girl.
Yeah.
And she was I thought I thought weird girls were actually going to be given a chance, but it turns out he's dating someone who looks like everyone else.
Oh, shit.
It's so profound to me. It really is.
That's a hard one to hear. Yeah.
And by the way, like Jack Antonoff, my little Jewish brother, like
No, he is one of our women. Babble.
he's one of our women,
Babble.
immense talent, but also like it is so interesting how when a guy who's like a human guy dates a girl who's prolific and brilliant as him, yet she doesn't look like everybody else, it's a mitzvah that he's doing.
What's mitzvah mean?
Like a good deed.
Oh, I see.
It just it just kind of enrages me, but at the same time, happy for them. Seems like things are amicable. A lot of interesting lore.
Oh, interesting here, because there were speculations that Lord was somehow. I don't think that that's true.
I don't think it's true either. I think they just worked on a lot of music.
I mean, Jack, you've got to give it up for the gentleman. Like, he made the best albums ever, which are Melodrama and Norman fucking Rockwell. Like, you've just got to give it up for Mrs. Auntie, like, and Son of Molehill.
Is also his recent Sabrina Carpenter work.
Oh, is he part of Sabri?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And about half of them produced
God,
in.
he's churning it out. I want to say two things. One is back when they were still together, I think I saw them from behind on the sidewalk in Brooklyn Heights once, Jack and Lena, although I might have just hallucinated. And then two is the other night I was asleep, as we all do once each night, if you're being healthy, and I had a dream that I saw Jack Antonoff and I saw Margaret Qualley, and I was with them, And I was like, oh my God, can I sing a song for you? And I sang the song Margaret, which, are you up to speed on Lana's lore? Like, Lana wrote the song Margaret about Jack. He met Margaret on a rooftop. She was wearing white, and he was like, I might be in trouble. And it's about Jack and Margaret Qualley meeting. They are now married. And anyway, I sang the song to Jack in the dream, and he was like, what is that?
Oh my
And I
God.
was like, girl, like, it's your song.
Calling Freud on that one. No, more like Carl Jung.
I don't know the difference.
Jung was very into the dreams of it
Oh,
all.
okay. Jung was
But
dreams.
Freud was also kind of into the dreams as well.
I'll bite. I'll bite on both.
And I don't know what these men would say, but they would say tea.
Tea spills season anyway. So yeah, she's now married to some like British musician, and
Yeah,
I'm
she
happy
seems
for them.
happy. She really does. And you know, I don't know. I may bite my tongue, but he did end up with the skinniest girl he could find.
Margie is skint.
She's gorgeous, talented, amazing. She seems really weird, which I love.
I actually am obsessed with her. She's
Yeah.
gorgeous. She was so good in The Substance. It blew me away.
She deserved a little more credit.
She should have gotten nommed for that. I'm sorry. That was not right. Isabella Rossellini, all love to the doll. Like, you weren't in Conclave. Like, you weren't in it, Queen. It didn't happen for you.
And let me just say one thing about Conclave. We needed that intersex tea way sooner.
The movie needed to be called
Intersex tea.
The movie should have been called Intersex Tea.
And then they would have gotten me to the theater sooner.
We still sat our butts down, but we would have been there months prior were it to be titled appropriately.
Like, give me the goods up front.
And it should have been a biopic about intersex Isaac.
100%.
Babble. Well, I think that just speaks to the larger thing where Lena is just an easy punching bag for people, and just like, because of who she is and because of what she looks like, is just like people feel like they can just shit on her as hard as they want, and actually, like, that's not fair. And she is someone who's sensitive and like cares about like the world, and like, the haters can fuck off. I'm sorry. I do feel like it's aged well, at least in my circles, that like, I think people have kind of come around to like, Lena is actually T, and I think a lot of the hate maybe has died down. That's not based in any reality, but I mean, it goes to like, when Not That Kind of Girl came out, let's just address some of these controversies. Like, let's just go there. Fuck it. Like, hopefully people can handle. When Not That Kind of Girl came out, the big thing was there's like a scene where she's like a toddler. She's like 5, and her sibling is like 1 or 2, and they're in the bathtub, and Lena describes like putting a pebble into the vagina of the sibling. And everyone was like, she's a child rapist. I'm like, girl, are you fucking kidding me? Like, if you didn't put the pebble in the puss, then you need to get the treble in the truss.
Yeah, what were you doing with your cousins?
Right. Like, everyone's cousin made them drink piss. Like,
Yeah, actually,
right?
I didn't think my cousins, but that's kind of just a general term for friends.
What happened? What did you say about your cousins?
I personally did not sexually experiment with any of my cousins.
Oh, neither did I.
but
I did
but
not
I
do
do
that.
think that is, of all of the controversies, I do think this is the most ridiculous.
I think that is just.
It's also, you are sexualizing children by making this controversy about SA and being graped.
Yeah. It's
No
just
one's raping anyone here.
stupid. It's just stupid.
And also, everyone who criticizes Lena in this particular instance is misgendering the sibling.
Yeah. The sibling is non-binary, which, by the way, non-binary tea is brewing, piping, and about to be sold in Saks Fifth Avenue once more. We are bringing back the... What am I trying to say? I'm trying to say non-binary is cool again.
Oh, it's been.
It's been, but like, you know, people were low-key hating on the theys for a while, and I think...
Theys are have been here.
They's are bays, and they's glaze the
And
trays.
are you theying these days?
I'm actually thinking about theying it up a bit these days. Yeah, like you know me, I've been like left, right, up, down, took hormones for a week, stopped, took a hormone the other day. Yeah, I have a bottle of hormones that like some days I wake up and I'm like, let me take this hormone today. I'm feeling it. And then I'm like, I don't want to do it anymore. You know me. I'm
Yeah, I'm
always
not
changing it.
not sure that it's kind of like popping an ibuprofen.
I mean, they said I was like when I got the pills, I asked my doctor who's I mean, I was assuming is a they. I actually don't know that for sure, but um I was like so I'm a bit flighty and indecisive. Like if I like take these one day and stop the next and like I'm not doing it regularly, is there any like thing would that be dangerous in any way? And then she was like or they were like no. So I'm like full steam ahead.
Probably not dangerous, but I don't know. Depends. I
I
don't
mean,
know if
not
you're
effective.
right. That's what I mean. But also, maybe it's mentally effective. Maybe it's
That's what I'm saying.
right. Maybe it's effective to your soul.
That is what I'm saying. It's soul level.
A little piece of yourself down the gullet.
Anyway, yeah. So
Babble. Babble.
Cis straight
Babble.
guys, as a rule, are socialized to only be kind to women who they want to fuck, and it's really a hard thing. It's really hard to not put oneself at the center of it and be
men are
like,
scum. Men are scum. Take it from me. Like men are scum.
sure. So I just wanted to address
Yeah.
that. And one thing I wanted to say about Lena that is a big facet of like why I feel close to her is that she's our chronically ill queen.
Yes. Expand here in any way you would like regarding chronic.
So she has like innumerable health challenges that she's opened up about. One being endometriosis. She got a hysterectomy that she has shared about. She also has an autoimmune disease and has been in a very medical mystery vortex many times in her life. And people don't really care about that. Like
That guy.
the public doesn't want to hear about anyone's illness, but those of us who have our own stories really appreciate when people open up about of their own. So if nothing else, it adds to her strength, in my opinion. It adds to
Yeah.
her point of view. And yes, she's white and she seems kind of straight based on what we know. I don't know. Maybe she's got a little.
She hooked
We've
up
all
with
got
her yoga instructor in that one episode of Girls, which is fiction.
Yes, but all to say, that experience of being so commandeered by illness and your body's responses to the world makes you an outsider and is valuable to your perspective as a writer. And so,
The chronically ill crew, which dis my crew, is should I quickly share what that is?
yeah.
When I first moved to New York and I lived on Misha's couch, I would walk onto the subway and I would have an intrusive thought every time I got on a subway car where I would look around at everyone else in the car and a voice in my head would go, dis my crew. And we say that. Anyway, the chronically ill include another legend, which is Mrs. Gaga. Which, by the way, what are your top 3 on Mayhem?
Oh my God. Okay.
We haven't discussed Mayhem on the podcast at
I
all
know,
yet.
and I've been thinking of you every time I listen to Mayhem. I think of you.
Yeah.
Because our era was Joanne together.
Yes!
It was so heavy.
Gaga
Like,
albums are a timestamp of life. Like, Joanne is when we were living in New York. Like, yeah. It's
Our
so
era.
visceral, like the muscle memory of hearing the songs.
It really is.
Outside
Okay.
of Abracadabra and Disease.
Yeah. Top 3 for me are going to be Shadow of a Man,
Yes.
Killa.
Yes.
She busts out.
She busted
something.
her pussy.
Yeah, and wow, it's
It's so
hard.
hard. I mean, I can't narrow it down past four, I'm realizing.
I think it might be. It's kind of I'm still in the deep listenings of
Yeah.
things occurring to me every time, so it's all new. But I'm gonna say for today, what
Hmm.
I want to listen to is Blade of Grass.
Oh, wow. I was gonna say Killa, Perfect Celebrity, which is my Perfect Celebrity is my number one standout. How Bad Do You Want Me and Shadow of a Man. And I do want to know, and we'll go in deeper to this in another episode, but like I went to the SNL performance. I was at SNL for
Kidding.
the first time. I've never been before, and I got to go. And she hosted a musical guested the day after Mayhem dropped, and it was the best night of my life. And I went to the after party and the after party, and she was there.
Did
What?
you get to talk?
No, I didn't get to talk to her, but it
Wait,
was
let me
fabulous.
say, aren't the SNL musical performances so sonically amazing?
Yes, I mean she
Sounds so good.
Abracadabra was so cool. And shout out to Bowen, who was so sweet and nice and like waved at me from the stage. Like, love to the
You're getting
Bowen.
in with those girls, huh?
Well, we're doing our best.
Good for you, sis.
um, yeah. Okay. One other thing I do want to touch on before we wrap it is Sharpstick. Have you had the
Yeah,
pleasure of Sharpstick?
yeah.
Such a fucking insane movie that ultimately I think is really bad, and I gag for it hard.
Yeah.
It's a
I,
movie about like a girl who's severely on the spectrum having like a sexual awakening, and in that sense I'm gagged because I'm like, yes, let's get the spectrum girls into bed to have their share of the fun. Now beyond that, it's a fucking weird movie that's not good to me, but I love Lena and I think it's fabulous that she flopped like that.
yeah, I mean, in a certain way, if it's Lena, I'm in.
Right, exactly, same. Which I didn't ever watch Camping, but I heard it was bad.
Bad. That
Bad.
I will go on record and say I thought was bad.
Camping was bad, huh? That's a shame.
Yeah. There was something about it that just didn't quite.
Work. Okay. One more question before we close is
The
favorite.
sharp section is 30 seconds.
The Sharpstick section. It was like, well, there's nothing more to say. There is a moment in Sharpstick where she's in the kitchen and she just like falls over, and it's
Yes.
like the funny
And what is the guy's name?
John Bernthal. He's so sexy.
Oh yeah, he's unreal in it, to be
Yeah,
honest.
he's an amazing actor and he's so hot.
Yeah, from The Bear.
Um, what's your favorite Lena moment from Girls, like acting wise? Can you answer me that?
Yes, I actually can. It's the scene where she goes to Adam Driver's door and just lets him have it.
Yeah.
Like that monologue is like what all of us aren't brave enough to say to these people
What
who've
does
hurt.
she say again? She's like, I want, so I don't want a boyfriend. I just want someone who likes to have sex with me and wants to be around me all the time. Is that the one you're talking about? Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, she just essentially the way I think of it is she's like, let me stand up for myself. I have no plan. You know, like she sounds very extemporaneous to me. But I matter. That's what I hear her saying. I matter. So I like if I don't matter to you, well, I need to.
Yeah.
And I think that is a pivotal moment in his character's journey, because I think he actually gains respect. Like he shows it in delusional and deranged ways. I don't really enjoy that character of
Who,
him.
Adam?
I mean, he's essential, but I'm just like he's a great actor. But I never liked how he treated her, to be honest. I don't,
Yeah.
that was the point, to treat her great. Um, but I think he would never show it, but gained a lot of respect for her in that moment.
Yeah, I think that's a crucial fulcrum point of the whole show. Um, I guess in closing, unless there's things are there things that we need to touch on from your research that we haven't?
The one thing that I just thought was so funny and delusional was that the New York Times covered her 15th birthday party.
They did.
Yeah, so go and read that article. Actually, I'll send it to you.
Oh, I need that.
I have no idea how it came about, but the New York Times came to her 15th birthday party at her Brooklyn Heights apartment, townhouse, whatever it was, with her St. Anne's friends.
Like
And,
Jemima.
and she, yes, and she talks about being vegan. And it is like one of the more delusional, like New York elitist, utterly insane,
Oh, I need that bad.
without any self awareness articles that I've ever read. And I just loved it so much
Oh, that's
for how.
perfect. I need that. Um, I want to do the 8 in a Lena way. So maybe it's
Okay.
like to close, it's like, what facet of Lena are you? What moment of Lena are you?
Oh.
I think I'm.
I think I don't know if I am this, but I respect this and maybe aspire to it. Is that she created that podcast, the C Word?
Oh,
So she obviously has faced so much ridicule, and then she went and created a podcast about women who faced ridicule. And there's that energy of like take your broken heart, turn it into art.
yeah.
Carrie. By the way, there would be no Lena Dunham without Carrie Fisher.
There.
Nice talk.
Now it's been said. And I need to go watch Postcards from the Edge right now.
Yeah, exactly. That energy of like turning something into whether people need it or appreciate it or not, turning it into action, um, and self-identifying as someone who has agency to create more art based on what you go through. The more you go through, the more art you make. Love
Yeah.
it. I do love it.
I think I'm gonna be. I was gonna say I'm gonna be her when she falls over in the kitchen in Sharpstick, but in a similar vein, I'm gonna be her when she's riding on Adam's handlebars and tells him to stop, and he's biking and he stops and she goes flying off onto the road. That's gonna be me.
Okay, now that we're doing this, I get what you're asking.
Yeah.
Like, if not like any facet of her, but you mean like moment. Ultimately, I do think I am when she's like running. You know the scene where she's running?
Oh, and she stops to stretch and stuff.
She like can't run anymore. That's me. And her like little titties are flopping.
She's so correct.
You're also very much the I crashed my car into a bridge rave moment with her mesh shirt.
Oh, yeah.
That's 100% you.
Yeah, that's me. And you are also. Why are you
I'm trying to become who I am.
Yeah, I'm trying to be. You're also. Why am I picturing her and Jenny Slate biking on that stolen bike in Greenpoint after they leave the like book party thing?
Rest in peace, Mint.
Oh my fucking god!
How that was.
I had a green bike that I bought when I moved to New York, and within 2 days of buying it, it was stolen. And the same day it was stolen, Misha and I went to the Hamptons. And I spent the whole trip whining about losing Mint. Didn't Alec lose your bike?
Yeah, how funny is it's okay. I was totally fine with it. I actually thought it was so funny.
It's tea.
I felt bad for him. Like, who wants to borrow their friend's bike and then it gets stolen?
Well, sometimes tea starts to brew on a summer's night. Okay. We love you, Lena.
Lena,
so
I
much.
love you.
And we're so excited for the new show with Will Sharp and Megan Stalter.
Oh my God, the Meg Stalter show I'm so excited about.
I'm really excited about. I think that's next year, maybe?
I also saw her recently do a show, and she was like, "No one's talking about too much. No one cares about me." It was so funny.
Oh, she's so funny.
She's so funny. Oh my God.
I
I think
love her.
they found a match in each other, the two of them.
Yeah, they're both geniuses.
Yeah.
Mishi, I love you. I'm gonna hit stop on record. Okay. Say bye
Much
to the
love.
babbles.
I babble, girls.
Bye, babble girls. Remember to keep babbling.
I'm gonna talk about all the things that I wanna talk about. We'll just keep talking. We'll just keep talking. Just keep talking. Talking. For so long. Ow, we're babbling on. We're babbling
Babbling On is created, produced, and edited by Hilton Dresden. The theme song is by Benny Cortoletta, featuring Callie Baker, and is produced by Benny Cortoletta and Jack Krause. The artwork is by Hilton Dresden. Audio consultation from Kenzie Woodrow and Dallas Seeker. Special thanks to Alec Cohen, Natalie Rotter-Waitman, Molly Montgomery, Nick Krause, and to everyone who has subscribed to Babbling On the Substack and refused to shut the fuck up.